All right, good evening. How is everybody doing? Yeah. What a night we have tonight. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to do an we're going to do an hour tonight with Nick Pope. And then we are going to do a bonus hour of Nick Pope on Thursday night on Fader night. That's right. He's going to take calls with me. And wouldn't it be cool if Mika calls in from Dover? Think about that. That would be an interesting conversation. So anyway, hour tonight with Nick. And then after we wrap with Nick tonight, we'll open up the phone lines and have some fun. And it's going to be great. And then we'll bring Nick back for an hour on Thursday night to man the phones with me and take all of your calls. Okay, so there you go. Man, I just love doing this show. It's so cool. And so that's where I'm at. And then tomorrow night, our special guest, a surprise guest, is Jason Louv, the author. Yeah, you're getting the sneak preview. And so he's going to be with us tomorrow night. Very cool. And that's about it. That's all I can really talk about now. I got it on a little bit late, and I'm going live right now. Enjoy the show tonight.
Bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Hey now, Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah. Today's Tuesday, May 8th, 2018. 128 days into the new year, just 237 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I am your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? You know what? Man, that just makes me want to have Italian food tonight after the show. Rita. Italian. How you doing? All right. Tonight's very special guest, Nick Pope, is here to discuss these days of disclosure, alien religion and technology. Wow. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Now, I'm just going to announce this right now. We're going to do an hour tonight with Nick. And then we're going to open up the phone lines. Okay, and I've got some other stuff I'm going to discuss with you, and so that's what we're going to do tonight, because Nick will be back with us on Thursday. That's right. He's gonna take your calls with me here for Fader Night. How cool is that? And the cool part about it is, wouldn't it be really neato if Mika called in from Dover? Yeah. I got to hear those two. Yeah. Nick and Mr. Pope have his hands full with Mika. That would be really interesting. So that's what we're going to do. So tonight, hour with Nick, and then we'll do, we're going to split the show up, and then Thursday night, Fader Night, Nick will be back with us, and will man the phones here with me in the bunker. Okay, so there's that. Now, tomorrow night, our special surprise guest is Jason Louv. And we're going to talk about his explosive new book, which I have here. It's called John D. and the Empire of Angels, Enochian Magic and the Occult Roots of the Modern World. That's tomorrow night, right here on Fade to Black. An amazing evening. What a week we've had here on the show. Oh, man, it's only Tuesday. It's only Tuesday. Unbelievable. So, and which goes back to last Thursday night here, Fader Night was, and each Thursday is just amazing, and I have so much fun doing it. But last Thursday was one of the great Fader Nights. That was just an amazing night on the show, which is why we do the show and your phone calls. But that was just so much fun. And so we're going to continue that this week. And I just came off of the high that we can all be angels. Oh, man. Who is that Meatloaf? Who is that? Is that Meatloaf? Looks like Meatloaf, Eric. I didn't know you were a Meatloaf fan. I didn't know you were a hold on. You know what? I can't resist the temptation. Is this Meatloaf? Just asking for a friend. That's it. I'll you know what you need? You want to cause trouble? I'll cause trouble. That's right. That's what I'm here for, causing trouble. And then this Thursday is another Fader Night, but not just another Fader Night with John Rappaport and open lines all night long. And it's No More Fake Newsroom Live, because we will have Mr. Nick Pope here to man the phones. Okay? All right. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Facebook winding down quickly. I have no interest, and I'm not sliding any of my friends and family that are over, makes me want to cough, that are over on Facebook. Okay? If Facebook is your thing, go for it. I have zero interest. I'm just going to milk Facebook for all it's worth and use it to promote the show for another month or so. But that's it. I'm done. I can't believe how little I care. It's just over on Stellar. You just have so much fun. It's so cool. So there you go. So that's that. I'll get to On Stellar in a second. Any questions or comments during the show? Hashtag F2BQ on Twitter. Sandbox. Our little chat room, our little corner of the internet universe is hashtag F2B on hashtag F2B on Twitter. That's Meatloaf's clone, actually. Is that true? Is that true? I didn't know he cloned. But you know what? You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know if it was a clone, right? But man, that's a pretty good gif right there. That dude looks like Meatloaf. You want to check out what I'm talking about? Just follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. It's right there. It's really cool. All right. Email throughout the show, Jimmy at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Breaking news. Breaking news. Last night, which is tomorrow, well, it's earlier today, or is it today? I don't know. You get the drill. But over in Armenia, Nicole Pashinyan was just elected Prime Minister of Armenia. It actually happened. Rita and I, it happened at about 3:30 a.m. our time. We watched everything live on the streams. And got popcorn, got munchies, and just watched this all night. But he was elected. Yep, he was elected. And now the real work starts. But congratulations to all of the people of Armenia, not only in Armenia, but around the world. And congratulations, Nicole, for leading this Velvet Revolution. Who would have thought that this day would have happened? But it did. It's here. And today is his first day in office. Think about that. Absolutely incredible. So there you go. It went down. It actually happened. All right. I got this email earlier today from Andrew. And Rita just said, really? Really what? Really what? Really what, Rita? I don't know. You mean meatloaf? Clone? I didn't do that. That's on Eric, if that's what you're referring to. I got this email earlier today from Andrew, and I'm going to read it to you here. It's pretty interesting. He says, I live on the North Norfolk coast, Cromer, in the United Kingdom. I'm sitting on the beach outside my beach hut since about 2000 hours GMT. Okay, so I guess that's 10 p.m. The sky here has been full of USA military activity. Fighter jets, Hercs, C-130 Hercules, even an Osprey, the tilt rotor aircraft. Something big is being rehearsed here. I know that our coastal area is used regularly as it represents the closest terrain to the Middle East. Activity is intense and constant. Not seen the like of this for years. Now, and that's all that he sent to me, but we have a very large UK audience. So I would like to hear from any of you out there. Shoot me an email, post it on Twitter, if you have seen this military activity, and if you know anything about it. Is it something that is it some military drill that was announced to the public? Is it something that is standard or not? Or what have you heard? I would like to know, and if you've shot any video or anything, also let us know. There's a lot of hot spots around the world. There's a lot of things going on, and it could be a dress rehearsal for something else. I do agree with Andrew. So please let us know straight from the UK if you have seen anything going on, or if you know anything about these drills specifically and what they are for. Okay? Thank you for that little public service announcement, a PSA. Okay, today is day 14 of the OnStellar Alpha testing. And now, not only does the platform look really, really awesome, and it's fast and sleek and amazing and cool, and the bugs are getting worked out and all of that stuff, but we have launched in the last 24 hours. You now have wallets and tokens. Those have been added, and we are moving quickly into the beta stage, which should happen. It could happen maybe in the next 24 hours or so. And so get ready for that. And when the beta stage kicks in, there are going to be a bunch of things not only added, but there's going to be some movement and some things that are going to happen. We will release an email to everybody and make an announcement on OnStellar about these changes. All of the changes that have happened, all the technical speak, if you go to OnStellar right now, and check out the trending page, there is a notice right there from OnStellar about all of the changes that have been made. One of the announcements that is in that current release is that we have an imminent release of a news feed. Now, the news feed will be on your profile page, and you will be able, all of your friends that are in your friends list, everything that they have done, or people that you follow, everything that they have done as far as posts or articles, video uploads, stuff like that, will be in the news feed. And so that's going to be there. And this is a really, 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 really big step. Now, there are, I want everybody to understand some things. The reason why all of this isn't done all at the same time is because we have to make sure that each thing that is done and every big change that is implemented works properly and doesn't mess up the rest of the system. Of course, right? Well, that's what's going on. That's the alpha stage, but we are very, very close. So the beta, once that is rolled out, and how that is handled and what is going to be done with that, it's going to be a monstrous thing. There's some other things that are going to happen at the same time. And at that point, we are close. But it's absolutely amazing. So get ready for that. We'll send an email out. We'll do a formal notification to let everybody know that these changes are about to happen and the new rev is about to kick in, and we are formally into beta. But we are really close. I do want to thank everybody for not only the bug fixes and the suggestions, because that's what Alpha is about. It's about you going out there and finding things that aren't working. Now, the responses, we are doing our absolute very best. The team over at OnStellar and the developers and what they do there, the list is very long, but they get stuff done. It's a 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week project when you're, well, it's going to always be that way, but especially when you're in alpha. And the amount of work that is put in, you can see these bug fixes happen nearly in real time. So there's a lot more to do, but this news feed and the other 3 or 4 major things that are going to happen at the same time are going to really impress you. But with that, and then we've got to work on the rest of the token economy. And it's about security. It's about signing in. It's about your password. It's about verification and all of that. It's got to be top shelf security for you, for us, for everybody in the community. So please understand that. We are very, very cautious about your privacy, your rights, your data, and everything. The latest announcement that is over on OnStellar right now, you can click on the trending page and see the article, explains a lot there. Okay, but your privacy, your data, your security, your passwords, and everything that runs on the surface is very, very, very important. Okay, OnStellar. And you can go and register now. As I speak, I wanted to make this announcement before we move further. I've got OnStellar live now in the studio, and it's right here. So, and I am getting messages right now. So we have the chat rooms, we have Twitter, we have email, we have all of this real-time stuff going on. And now we have OnStellar. So if you choose and you're over on OnStellar and you're listening to the program and you want to message me during the show or send me a question, it pops up and I get the notification on my screen right away so I can see it. Have at it. Have at it. Why not? Why not complicate my life just one more layer here? Okay. But do it. I encourage it. It is just so cool. I cannot get off of this platform. See? Yeah. Okay. All right. Gabriel, are you okay? Are you testing me? There you go. There you go. See? See? There you go. It's really that simple. OnStellar. So cool. All right, let's move on. We've got so much to talk about. Now, our next, and by the way, OnStellar is going to be at Contact in the Desert along with us. And Stillness in the Storm and Modern Masters, we will all be together in the center of the floor there. So come and hang out with us. Come up to the On Stellar booth, Fade to Black booth. We're going to have a lot of really cool things. I'll be hanging out there all weekend. It's always the place to be. And 4 days of events and speakers. And it is June 1st through the 4th, 2018, Indian Wells, Palm Springs at the Renaissance Resort and Spa. I am looking into, they have fire pits outside, really nice fire pits. And I think we're going to commandeer a fire pit for the Fadernauts. Yeah. I'm going to get some velvet ropes. We're going to rope that thing off, put a sign up in the middle. Do not sit down here. Right? Yeah. Yeah, we have to. So that will be June 1st through the 4th. Contact in the desert. Click on the banners over at jimmychurchradio.com. And then August 9th through the 12th, our Soul Tech up at ECETI Ranch. 4 days and nights of teaching, of fun, of making friends and memories that will last a lifetime. And I guarantee you what's going to go on out there on the field of dreams each night, it's going to be extraordinary. And you can go and get all of the information that you need right now. Click on the banner, soultechgathering.com. And we'll see everybody up there. Michaela Sheldon, Matthew Ryan, Jason Quitt, Holly Marie, James Gilliland, myself. I know I'm leaving a few off, but just go. Okay, soultechgathering.com. It's going to be absolutely an amazing event with 300 Fadernauts all in one place at one time. Where am I? Don't forget, subscribe to our podcast. We have over 850 archive shows, custom apps, Apple, Android, all platforms. Just $2 a month. We have a new landing page over there, by the way, a new website, and you can go and check that out. Click on the podcast banner, and we're updating that now, but it looks really nice, pretty slick. You can also become a Fadernaut over at our membership section on jimmychurchradio.com. You get the Bunker Cam, commercial-free downloadable archives. You can even get autographed shirts and hats. You get a private email to me. All of that really cool stuff. Become a Fadernaut today. The hats are really nice. The hats look like this now. See, they're embroidered, right? So you've got that. They're embroidered. But on the back, it says jimmychurchradio.com. You know, how cool, how beautiful is that? So you get those, and they're autographed. Yeah. Sign every single one of them. It's so cool. I got bags of 50 signing those. It is so cool. Very humbling experience when you go through all of that. Don't forget all of our sponsors here, Life Change Tea, GetTheTea.com, River Moon Coffee, New Pharma, Ancient Life Oil, Sacred Skulls, New Mana Food Storage, and Bearing Optics. All of their banners and promo codes are over at jimmychurchradio.com. Let's get the show cracking, by the way. Happy birthday to today, Enrique Iglesias is 43. Doesn't Iglesias mean church? All right, that's church in Spanish. And there's one thing, you know, son of Julio, right? Son of Julio. Julio, huge star, right? Enrique, as the son, right? 100 million albums sold worldwide. And that's insanity. That is megastar. But, and he's great. What was that song? Hero? That was good. That was a good song. But he played in, I'm trying to think of the movie. He played an assassin in Mexico. Rita, what was that movie called where he played that assassin? There was like 4 guys in his group, and was it Antonio Banderas he worked for? I can't even remember now. I can't remember, but he's really good in the movie. I just can't remember what the movie was. All right, I've got to get one of those hats, but if it's signed, and it will be hard to wear, and I want to sport it all the time. Well, what you do is get yourself a gold pen where it's signed and just sign over it. You can sign it again, right? Filmed right down the street from my high school in Santa Cruz, California. Jimmy, Enrique sucks and you know it. Heavy metal rules. Oh, man, I like all music. Jimmy Enrique sucks. He used to wear those sweaters. Remember the sweaters that were too long and the sleeves? And they would... I never did that. I never, in my fashion world... I never did the sleeves that went past your hand. No, man, I liked Enrique. Enrique is cool, man. Enrique is cool. So I like all music. See, and that's the thing. I like all. If music is good, it's just good. It doesn't. I listen to heavy metal. That's my thing. But I like the blues. I like country. I like salsa. I like Latino stuff. I like Russian and Armenian music. And man, I just like it all. If it's good, it's good. It just doesn't really matter. But that's Enrique sucks. I love this audience. All right. Our dead guy's birthday today is Ricky Nelson. 1940 to 1985, died at the age of 45, tragically, by the way. Singer, songwriter, musician. He was on the Ozzie and Harriet show forever because he was the son of Ozzie and Harriet Nelson. The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet. He was also nominated for a Golden Globe for his appearance in Rio Bravo. Yeah. What does that remind you of? Get Shorty. I should have... that's a Twitter question. I should have let that hang out there, which is great, but not as great as his song, Garden Party. And I listened to it today. Rita, she shows up at the bunker. I listened to 4 versions of Garden Party, a couple of them live, a couple studio versions. It's cranked, ear-bleeding level. Love that song, man. Love that song. Nelson dreaded flying, but refused to travel by bus. So in May 1985, that's right, the year that he died, in May 1985, he decided he needed a private plane and paid $118,000 for a 14-seat 1944 Douglas DC-3 that had once belonged to Jerry Lee Lewis. Later that year, on December 31st, 1985, the plane crash-landed northeast of Dallas in a cow pasture, less than 2 miles from a landing strip. 7 were killed. Nelson and his companion, Helen Blair, bass guitarist Patrick Woodward, drummer Rick Intveld, keyboardist Andy Chapin, and guitarist Bobby Neal, and also their road manager, soundman Donald Clark Russell. Pilots Ken Ferguson and Brad Rank both survived and escaped via the cockpit windows. Wow. Incredible. Ricky Nelson. Just amazing. That song, Garden Party, just beyond great. And I think, I think you have heard Freddie Mercury do opera with the Montserrat. No, I did not know. I bet you that is pretty epic. I love talking music here. Speaking of music, here's a Fader fact for you. All right, speaking of music, let's keep it going. Barry Manilow didn't write his song called I Write the Songs. Now, I thought when I heard that song back in the 70s, I write the songs that make the whole world sing. A song about everything. I thought that Barry wrote that because he writes the songs. And there were all these rumors back then that he wrote all the commercials and McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chicken and all these things, right? I don't know if that's true, but it seemed like he wrote all those commercial jingles. So when he said, he sings a song, I write the songs, I assumed he wrote the songs, but he didn't write that one. Yeah. Here you go. On this day in history, OTD, 1963, Sean Connery breaks out with his first Bond movie, Dr. No. And I'm going to go on the record right now, and I'm just going to say it before the controversy starts. He is my favorite Bond. I think think of James Bond, I think of Sean Connery. I'm going on the record. Okay, that's it. Sean Connery. And there you go. All right, tonight, very special guest, Nick Pope is here. We're going to discuss the days of disclosure, alien religion and technology. That'll be tonight. Thursday night, Nick is going to be back with us for another hour. He's going to man the phones with me here and take your phone calls on Fade or Not. Whoa, later on tonight, I'm going to open up the phone lines after Nick. So get ready for that, and we're gonna have some fun. I've got some other stuff I'm going to talk about tonight with all of you, and I'll take your phone calls after Mr. Pope. Okay, so I'm going to get out of here right now. I'll get Nick in. Don't forget that tomorrow night, our very special surprise guest, Jason Louv, will be here. We're going to talk about his amazing new book. It's called John D. and the Empire of Angels, Enochian Magic and the Occult Roots of the Modern World. Thursday is going to be another Fader night. Not just another Fader night, because Nick Pope's going to be here, along with John Rappaport, and open lines all night long. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'm going to get out of here, get Nick in, and we'll pick things up from there. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. On the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. We'll be right back. Stay with me.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Natural Health Solutions with Chris and Ronnie.
Hey, Ronnie, how you doing?
Great, Chris.
Now, you're the CEO of GetTheTea.com, right?
Yes, I am.
What is GetTheTea.com? I mean, is this tea you buy in a store?
Well, no, it's not. Life Change Tea is just that. Life-changing. Life Change Tea is an herbal tea that gently cleanses your body from intruders.
What do you mean by intruders?
Well, intruders are toxins, chemicals, GMOs, heavy metals, and more. They're in our food, in our water, in our air we breathe.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
And Life Change Tea will help you with removing these, as you say, intruders?
That's right, Chris.
Are there side effects with this tea?
Well, you might lose a little weight. When you clean your colon, you lose weight, you feel better, and you have more energy.
Wow. Ronnie, where can people purchase Life Change Tea?
Oh, that's easy. GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com.
Ronnie, I want to thank you for being on the show. People, don't forget, GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at kgraradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. kgraradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Let's do this. This segment of Fade to Black is proudly brought to you by Life Change Tea. That's right, we do the super strength tea every single day here. The entire staff, friends and family, everybody's on the Life Change Tea. Promo code FADER, F-A-D-E-R, over at jimmychurchradio.com. We'll get you free shipping. Tonight, it's Nick Pope. And I had mentioned right before the break that over at On Stellar, if you're over at On Stellar right now and listening to the show, you can message me right there. And I go and I slip of the tongue. And I literally, there are so many people at On Stellar hanging out and apparently listening to the show. And I got 30 messages popped up. Just right there, and I tried to hit everybody back. I didn't have enough time, but thank you. That's very humbling. On Stellar is just amazing. So thank you for that. That was my slip of the tongue. You know, be careful what you wish for, right? Nick Pope worked for the UK's Ministry of Defence, investigating UFOs and other mysteries officially for the British government, leading the media to call him the real Fox Mulder. Because of his work on these real X-Files, Nick has worked as a consultant or spokesperson on numerous alien-themed movies, TV series, video games. Nick is a regular contributor to numerous TV shows, including Ancient Aliens, Expedition Unknown, NASA's Unexplained Files, Unsealed, and UFOs Uncovering the Truth. He has written 2 science fiction novels, a thriller, and 3 books about UFOs. The most recent, which I have here, and I got, you know what's funny? It's called Encounter in Rendlesham Forest. And when the book was released, and Nick is going to laugh right now. Well, let me just say this right now. Nick, welcome back to the program. How are you, man?
I am fine. It's great to be back on the show.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. I was just going to recount the story when the book was released, and you had 1 copy left. And I said, well, that's mine. And you said, Jimmy, I said, Nick, I want the book. And you took it out and you signed it right there and handed it to me. And I had, do you remember that whole thing? I know I pressured
Absolutely.
you.
Yeah. Yes, you cleaned me out. That was my last copy. I don't have one myself now. I hope you're pleased. No, well, I do. I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, it was really funny. And I got the book and I'm walking away and I'm like, man, I just took his last book. And so anyway, but it is a treasured thing that I have down here in the bunker. And it was just a little funny moment between the two of us. Nobody was around, so nobody got to witness me bullying you to get you your last book, but there you go. Welcome back to the program, and it's been a while. We see each other out there publicly, but it's been a while since you've been on with this. What have you been up to?
Oh gosh, lots of things. I have been doing quite a lot of filming, obviously, for the new season of Ancient Aliens, which is just starting, and of course I was in the season premiere, which covered the Pentagon's UFO program, but I'm in a whole bunch of other episodes this season, so that's keeping me busy. I have just finished my latest book, and I'm starting the sequel to that. I have a whole bunch of other offers for various TV shows. A lot of people talk about me appearing on other people's shows and say, well, maybe you should have your own. So I'm in discussions about that, and it just seems like there's always something going on.
Yeah, there's something about, well, first off, you have the MOD connection, so there you go, you've got that. But there's something about the way that you speak and your presentation on the subject that people resonate with. And because of that, are you careful about what you say? Do you choose your words because people listen to you and they take notes?
I choose my words very carefully for two reasons. I mean, firstly, of course, I am still bound by my secrecy oath, and even though I've retired from the Ministry of Defense, that binds me for life. So, of course, it's very easy sometimes to get into a discussion with someone, particularly on, late night radio show or something, and you perhaps sail a little bit too close to the wind and you have to pull yourself back and realize, wait a minute, no, that's classified. So that's one reason. But the other one is, yes, I do have, I suppose, what has been called a BBC English voice, and I do a lot of TV and radio for the BBC. So people do, because of the job I did, listen to me carefully and sometimes read things into what I say, and sometimes, I must say, misread things into what I say. So yes, every word I think carefully about.
Now, I know that you have your oath, but it would be really cool, too, if you just...
Not for me, it would.
It'd be cool if you fell on your own sword and took one for the team and became a martyr and just one day just let it all go. And, look, I would donate to your canteen in prison. I would make sure you ate well.
Yes, well, thank you for that. I think history shows us that martyrs don't usually come to a very good end, and so I think I'll pass on that one. Thank you.
Yeah, and not to make light of it, though, Nick, because of the oath, and we're all curious about that. I don't have a security oath. You do. But is that oath for you, the classified stuff, not related necessarily to UFOs? I mean, you have other classified information that you can't speak about that has nothing to do, right, about the UFO subject, and that is the concern.
Well, it's all of the above. I was in the Ministry of Defense for 21 years, but my time on the UFO project was only 3 years within that period. I've done a whole bunch of different postings throughout my time there. I've done a financial policy job, a personnel job, a security policy job. So I know an awful lot of classified information on a whole range of subjects, some UFO, but some, for example, counterterrorism. And I have to be careful with all of it.
Right.
And the oath I signed, in one sense, there's nothing unusual about it. I signed it in common with any Ministry of Defense employee on my first day in government service, and I actually signed a reminder on my last day, just reminding me of the fact that even though I was leaving, this binds me for life. So there's not really a way around it unless I was going to become a whistleblower, and I'm not. I mean, I don't approve generally of whistleblowing because most times the people blowing the whistle aren't the information owners. They've come across information, but they don't own that information, and therefore they haven't done the damage of assessment of what happens if it gets out there. And everyone always says to me, well, the people have a right to know. But of course, what they sometimes forget is when you put it out there, it's not just the people, it's the Russians, the Chinese, the Iranians, the North Koreans, it's ISIS, it's everyone.
Right. That's very interesting. And most wouldn't look at that angle of it. It's just like, just let it go. Let it out there. But they don't understand the other implications that are behind that. And speaking of that, these days of disclosure that we're in, well, it certainly feels like it could have been the days of disclosure. I'm not sure where we are right now. But you have been pushing for and speaking about disclosure long before it was as fashionable of a word as it is today. Is this form of disclosure that we have been going through since December, Is it your version of disclosure, and are you happy about the way things have happened?
Well, I am moderately happy. I mean, let's break this down. I mean, obviously, your reference to December is a reference to the Pentagon's program. And I think when that ended up not on some New Age website, but in the New York Times and then in the Post and right across the media, it took this subject to a different level, a higher level. It was suddenly, I think, okay to have a conversation about this, and that conversation is one that we're still having. There are still, of course, a whole bunch of unanswered questions about this Pentagon program. I mean, heck, we can't even quite agree on the name of it yet.
Right.
We have Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program. Now we find out that might be part of the Advanced Aerospace Weapons System Applications Program. So if we can't even agree what this thing is called, we really don't yet have a full idea of the terms of reference and, of course, the outputs in terms of the data. Then there's this complex relationship trying to untangle how the Pentagon's program is related to work done by Bigelow Aerospace, work done by To the Stars Academy. So there's a lot of things that we still don't know. But I think we have more information than we did before December 16th, and that's a good thing.
Is it okay for the UFO community to, I don't know if embrace is the right word, but to accept this olive branch that appears to be happening right now with the Pentagon, or is it not real? And would the MOD do the same thing? Would the MOD buddy up with a UK UFO group and suddenly start distributing gun camera videos?
Well, first off, I don't think any one person can speak for the UFO community. So, I mean, I think people are free to take this or leave this, to be as accepting or as skeptical as they want. I'm not sure I would describe it as a Pentagon olive branch, and certainly my information is that DOD and DIA personnel involved in this, those still in the system, were somewhat at a loss, caught out by this, and so I don't necessarily call this an official initiative, perhaps not even a quasi-official initiative. My take, for what it's worth, is a bunch of people who looked at this issue from within government, put some of that work out to contract to Bigelow Aerospace and elsewhere, but for a number of reasons, I think took that subject as far as they could within the system, and they're now perhaps trying to take it forward outside of the system. As to whether anyone buys into this, both metaphorically and literally, well, that's up to them. Caveat emptor, I guess. I think treat everything with caution. Anything in the government world, anything in this world of deep classified programs is not always what it appears to be. So tread carefully. As to whether the British government would do it, in a sense, we did. A couple of our highly classified programs were certainly put out to contract on this subject in the same way that the DIA seems to have done with Bigelow Aerospace and others. Project Condign is a good example, the classified intelligence assessment of the UFO phenomenon. That was actually commissioned by the Defense Intelligence Staff. I actually helped set it up. But it wasn't done by the Defense Intelligence Staff. It was done by a contractor working for a defense company. So there is some precedent. What I call all this, from previous discussions we've had, I call this disclosure with a little d, not disclosure with a big D. Disclosure with a big D is the president saying, my fellow Americans, people of the world, we're not alone. This is not that scenario, but it's certainly something.
And why do you think it has chilled out? And not so much with the community, but the mainstream media, which for about 6 weeks there, they had everything on the headlines. Is there an issue with the information or the vetting process? Because they certainly got the clicks, right? They got all of the world, talking about this, but it seems to have died down. Is it because the Pentagon isn't releasing stuff, or maybe that the mainstream media had their fun with it, and now we're back? You know what I mean? We're back to where we were.
Yes, I mean, in one sense, the big news was, although people are obviously focusing, and we're a very visual, I think, and audio-orientated society, but people have been focusing, I would say, over-focusing on those clips of Navy jets chasing an unidentified object of some sort. The real story, of course, was just the fact that the Pentagon was doing this at all, when previously, if you went on to all the various government websites that mentioned UFOs, if you found anything at all, it would usually say, well, we had this thing called Project Blue Book, but we got out of that in 1969, and there's no longer any interest or research. Mm-hmm. So the big story, in a sense, was, heck, that didn't actually turn out to be true. And so when the media got over the shock of that, and the interest of looking at these 2 or 3 videos, there is a kind of, well, where do we go from here question. Right. And unless you have a whole bunch more material to release, analyses and documents from the program itself, in a sense, there's not much more that you can do. And the New York Times has to be careful. This was a big story, but I think there's an old saying, a lot of big stories don't find their way into the Post and the Times, for example, because the Times can't ever end up looking like the Inquirer.
Right. And it was dangerously close to that. And I was very surprised, and I do want to discuss religion here. I was also very surprised that with this kind of explosive news, with the New York Times, and then, of course, CNN, the BBC, and Sky, and RT, everybody came along for the ride. But one thing didn't happen. Religion didn't collapse. The Vatican didn't freak out. The New York Stock Exchange didn't implode. There was no rioting in the streets, which is what we were told was what was going to happen. And it seemed like we took it in stride. And I found that interesting, didn't you?
Yes. Now, back in 2010 in the UK, there were a couple of Royal Society discussion meetings that looked at the societal consequences if we discover extraterrestrial life. And one of the big conclusions was that there probably wouldn't be the big societal shock that people sometimes talk about, all these cliches of panic in the streets, run for the hills, collapse the world economic system, undermine the major religions. None of those things would actually happen. Certainly according to the scientists who've looked at a few of these things from within their respective fields of psychology, for example. But religion is back in the news just today on this very story, because there was a newspaper article in a UK national daily paper which talked about how both in the Ministry of Defense UFO project and in the Pentagon's program, there was some pushback actually over the religion issue, not because people were fearing a public backlash, but because senior Pentagon and Ministry of Defense officials with deeply held religious convictions just were deeply, deeply uncomfortable with the implications of the UFO phenomenon.
The rumor on the street, and I'm going to stay on this religious aspect of it, that there were some inside of the Pentagon and the MIA and DOD that were using words like demonic Right? And that's a pretty crazy. And now, is that a Christian fundamentalist take on it? Or do you think they actually have some kind of information that may lean that way? And look, we don't understand really what's going on. So for them to use these kinds of words, either they know something or maybe it's just based on belief and a fear.
Well, yes, absolutely. This was, I think, something that did come back to certain people's religious views. Christian, I would say, fundamentalist. I didn't ever think I'd end up quoting the Bible with you in the show.
I know.
But you know, there's a passage in Ephesians where it talks about Satan as being, and this is the direct quote, the prince of the power of the air. And I've heard that bandied around before by people within government and the intelligence community who've looked at the UFO phenomenon. And yes, even though it was quite a dramatic headline, it's true. There really do seem to be some people, both at the Pentagon who were looking at this and at the MOD, who thought that this was satanic, demonic. Mm-hmm. And that was why, or it was one of the reasons why, there was pushback. Luis Elizondo talked about this. It was a little throwaway line in one of his interviews somewhere. But he said it was the religious worldview of some of these people that said, well, maybe this just can't be, or maybe if it is, it's demonic and it isn't something we should be looking at.
DeLong said on this program last year sometime, just that. He had said, and we were doing a cat and mouse back and forth, right? I'm trying to pull information out of him, and you've certainly been a victim of that with me, Nick, in the past. And so, when it's fun. And as I was getting more and more information out of him, I had said then, so what are you suggesting here, Tom? Are UFOs religious? And he goes, bingo. I believe I'm paraphrasing, but he goes, bingo. I said, what do you mean? Well, be careful about what you are communicating with when you see a UAP or a UFO, because it may not be what you think it is. And I thought, wow. And and he was saying that his insiders have given him this information. That's a pretty heavy statement, isn't it? And certainly that would change a worldview.
It is a heavy statement, and it's, I think in one sense, it's an unhelpful extra layer of complexity over this already complex subject. If you have to factor in, not, as I say, anyone worried that releasing this information is going to impact the world religions in some way, but just the fact that the people handling policy for this subject within government think like that.
Did you, I've got to take a break here in about 90 seconds. Did you, I know you probably read Childhood's End. Did you see the 3-part or 4-part miniseries, the movie that they made?
I did not.
Okay. Well, in that, E.T. looks like the devil, right? He's got wings. He's the full-on hooves. He's red. He's got the horns, and he's big and he's intimidating, but he's a pretty nice guy, right? so he communicates behind this two-way mirror, right? So nobody can see what he looks like because they don't want to cause world panic. And that's what I find interesting, too, as well. And so when I think about that, Nick, do you think maybe some of this fear may be science fiction based?
Yes. I absolutely. And there's a hugely complex two-way street relationship between sci-fi and ufology, but that's a whole other story, I suspect.
It is. All right, let's take our break right here, and we'll pick up right where we left off. Always great to have you on the show, and we'll certainly talk about Contact in the Desert, which you'll be talking about out there in just 3 short weeks. And Nick will be back with this. What is Thursday night, right, Nick? You're going to man the phones with me here?
Yes.
It's going to be great. This is Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Nick Pope. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas. Hello, Fadernauts. This is Jimmy Church, and I'm introducing New Pharma, a company whose products are based on science. Human function based on the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. New Pharma firmly believes in this science, and their research indicates that support of the ECS provides the beneficial effects for a healthy lifestyle. New Pharma's science includes relief capsules for pain relief, sleep capsules, which are natural support for occasional sleeplessness. Foundation is support for your ECS, and Fit capsules support your active lifestyle. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B for a 33% discount on all of their products. Or visit newpharma.com for all of the knowledge on the science. That's GNUpharma.com. Go back, Lee Tappy.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
Ancient Life Oil. Life-changing. The real oil. CBD is truly Ancient Life Oil from the source. This oil has no psychoactive effect and is also legal in all 50 states. When you're healthy, you're happy. The truth about this wonderful plant is that it wants to give back to mankind life, longevity, and happiness. Ancient Life Oil are golden grade, all organic, non-GMO, and infused with high-quality liquid coconut oil. It's simple. Just go to ancientlifeoil.com today. That's ancientlifeoil.com. The best, purest, organic, and non-GMO CBD in the world. Go back, Lee Tappy. The statements made regarding these products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please consult your healthcare professional about potential interactions or other possible complications before using any product.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Nick Pope. And this segment of Fade to Black is proudly brought to you by River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. Promo code F2B blend will get you 50% off of your order today. Our guest tonight, Nick Pope. And Nick, right before the break, talking about religion, one of the things that I like to contemplate is, look, it's the universe. And there could be a creator of everything. That could be what everybody is referencing as God. Okay, I'm actually okay with that. But if that is indeed the case, who we look at as God here, it's got to be the same in Zeta Reticuli, right? It's got to be the same in Alpha Centauri or any other planets out there that may have life on it. they would experience the same thing. I would have to think, and I'm safe in thinking that. So if that is the case, could E.T. actually represent that type of situation where maybe that could be the creator of the universe? That could be our God, and we don't know it yet in that reference.
Well, I'm not sure about that. Speaking personally, I'm actually an atheist, so I would say no to that. I think if we find other civilizations in the universe, what we might well find is a whole bunch of them have different religions, just as we have different religions here on Earth. We might find a whole bunch of civilizations have put religion behind them and regard it as superstition. I suspect we'll find a whole bunch of different things out there in the cosmos when it comes to belief. But what we'll find in terms of actuality, I don't know.
Now, what are you going to do? You and I are out. We're in contact in the desert. We're out in the desert. You and I are walking, and suddenly this craft lands in front of us, and you and I are standing there, and the ladder comes out, and E.T. starts stepping off, and we're looking at his feet, and you and I are like, wow, this is incredible, church. It's you and I. Here we go. The first contact. And Jesus walks off the craft. What are you going to do? I don't even know what I would do. But
well, I would say how do we know it's Jesus? I mean, we've got I suppose a stereotypical idea of what Jesus looks like from a few Hollywood movies and things. But actually, yeah, if you look at the artwork across the world and things, there are even different versions there. So just because someone comes out of a spaceship and looks like our version of Jesus from a movie, I'm not going to think that's Jesus. I'm going to think, okay, that's an extraterrestrial, and I've got a whole bunch of questions.
I know, and your first thing is going to be, hi, I'm Nick, this is Jimmy, and you shake his hand and he goes, hey, I'm Jesus. Right? I don't know, man. I'm just messing with you. But the reason why, when I look at guys like Richard Dawkins, right, and he's got his thing, Darwin, and he is just adamant about it, and he's got legions of followers and fans. But I look at it a little bit differently in that, not in a religious way at all, but that the universe is really old. Possibly infinite, situations here of age. And there could be an intelligence out there that has grown so intelligent over billions of years that we don't even understand that, and we can't relate to it. But thousands of years ago, that intelligence may have been interpreted as religious or a god, and here we are today, 2,000 years later, and 3,000 years later, 4,000 years later, and it's now called religion when it has nothing to do with that.
Yes, I mean, in a sense, what you're discussing isn't a million miles different from, I guess, ancient astronaut theory. Right. But, I would characterize it a slightly different way. Arthur C. Clarke, of course, has that very famous quote, which is, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
That's right.
I would turn that around and in the light of what you just said and say any sufficiently advanced life form would be indistinguishable from God.
Right.
In other words, is it possible to imagine a civilization so advanced that it might be able to turn water into wine and raise the dead and do those sorts of things? Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. Why not?
Does
that make it God? I would say no. It makes it like our very human concept of what a God should be.
You're saying that so in such a profound way that it sounds like you're breaking your security oath. Do you know something? I totally agree with you. And in fact, I think I'm going to steal what you just said. All right, so I'm just I'm letting you know in advance. So when you hear later that I stole it, you can say, "Well, he told me he was going to." Let's talk about alien tech, and the reason why I think this is so important. Certainly, there is something going on with this phenomena that we don't understand. And when I witness the things that I have seen in the skies, I don't know if it's ours or theirs, that, I don't know. But it's certainly a technology that I don't understand, and one that hasn't been presented to the public or to the world if it is ours. What do you think is going on there?
Well, I think in a situation where we can make very few assumptions about extraterrestrials, who they are, why they might come to Earth, what technology they might have. I think one of the very few really good assumptions that we can make is that their technology will be more advanced than ours, self-evidently, because they come to us and we can't get to them. The other thing is that part and parcel of that technology, of course, will be, I guess, the really big thing that I would be interested in, the technology behind interstellar travel. And I'm talking about viable interstellar travel, not sending our space probes at a speed that might get them to the nearest star in 70,000 years. I'm talking about something a little bit quicker and easier than that. So exotic propulsion systems and energy sources, that sort of thing.
The photograph that you used to have in your office, the one that disappeared?
Yes.
Okay. And for those out there, if you're wondering what we're talking about, we're not going to revisit the entire story, but you can go back and listen to some of Nick's previous appearances on this program and get that. But that photograph, do you think that I want you to go back to your memory. Do you think that photograph represents the ET tech that I'm referencing right now?
It might. On the other hand, you could look at that photo, and I've been involved in a fairly realistic recreation of it, and that's out there. We did that for a TV show. But it could simply be a very advanced secret prototype spy plane or drone. Now, I don't think so for a number of reasons, and it was my predecessor who did the investigation into that at the MOD's UFO project, not me. But still some unanswered questions on that. And of course, until the photo turns up again, we probably won't know for sure.
The videos the 3 videos that we've all seen that have surfaced, they've been out on the net for a long time and so forth, but they're certainly intriguing videos. In your time at the MOD, did you see any gun camera footage from the RAF that raised eyebrows for you like these 3 videos have?
Yes, but in one sense, it didn't really tell me much more than I can learn by looking at these Pentagon videos. Yes, they're interesting. It tells us that military pilots sometimes see things they can't identify and sometimes chase them, but it doesn't really tell us much more than that. Now, I know that Luis Elizondo and a number of the other people involved in this have gone into a bit more detail, and that's interesting. But yes, I've seen those things. In one sense, it gets to the central frustration of this. The more data we get, the more questions we have, and we don't often find our way to an answer.
In those 3, I just want your opinion because of your knowledge of this. In those 3 videos that were released, what did you think of them? Do you think that you were looking at something not of this earth, or do you think it was something, much more simple and earthbound?
I don't know. When I did this for the Ministry of Defense, I had imagery analysis resources and capabilities available to me that I don't have access to now, both in terms of computer programs and, of course, the human intelligence personnel doing this sort of job. So I know what I don't know, and I could not look at those videos and give you an informed interpretation. What I will say is this: I didn't look at them and say, my goodness, this absolutely has to be extraterrestrial because it can't be anything else. We simply couldn't do that. I was not that impressed looking at them to make that assumption.
And were there, when I want you to, going back to what you saw at the MOD, were there similar things in the gun camera footage that you saw at the MOD that reminded you of what was in this footage?
Yes, and indeed, a lot of what I saw was radar rather than visual, but there was some visual too, and it was interesting, but it didn't necessarily take us to any firm conclusion. And by the way, I should say, and this is another part of all this discussion, the Ministry of Defense is in the final stages of declassifying and releasing its UFO files, and that's a process I've been involved with. And when the last files are out there, I might be able to say a little bit more. But again, this is part of disclosure with a little d. The Ministry of Defense and the National Archives in the UK is slowly but surely putting out all the files that I was working on when I was doing that job. So in a sense, every day that comes at the moment, it seems to be a new story about my old MOD job in the media, and the more that's out there, the more I'll be able to say. So interesting times.
Okay, now let's do some rapid fire questions here, and let's have some fun with this. What's the MOD's official position? Have we made contact with ET? Have they made contact with ET?
No. Before they formally terminated their UFO program in 2009, the official position of the MOD was that most of these sightings are misidentifications. Some can't be explained, but they take no position on those unexplained cases. They don't say that they're extraterrestrial, but neither do they rule out that possibility.
Does the MOD believe that there is life out there and we are being visited, or have been visited in the past?
No, the MOD took no formal position on that issue.
Is that your security?
They said, the line was, and this was the line that I had to put out to Parliament, the media, and the public. The line was that we effectively have an open mind on such questions, but take no formal position on it.
You have been involved with Rendlesham nearly since the very beginning, and you've got relationships out there that are long-standing. But that and your book is amazing. But putting that to the side, what is the MOD's position on Rendlesham today? Has it changed?
Yes and no. Now, that's a real government official answer for you. The official position was always that this incident was looked at, but no evidence was found of anything of any defense significance. That said, they took the view, the official line was that, yes, the case was still unexplained. However, with the declassification and release of the intelligence assessment I mentioned earlier, Project Condign, there was a new admission to that, and there was a throwaway line in Project Condign where it said that the Rendlesham Forest incident was a case where it might be postulated that people were exposed to UAP radiation for longer time periods than would normally be the case. Mm-hmm. And that was a direct, that was in this highly classified intelligence assessment of the UFO phenomenon. And that's one of the reasons that John Burroughs, with the assistance of his attorney, Pat Frasconia, but also with the assistance of Senator McCain and Senator McKyle and some of their staffers. That's how John Burroughs was able to get his VA settlement, because of that line in that Ministry of Defense intelligence assessment, Project Condign.
The reason why I have to ask about the MOD's official position, that one line, which I have talked to you both publicly and privately about, I don't interpret that any other way than knowledge of not only ETs and UFOs and UAPs, but their effects, and they are aware of it, and they are basing it on previous data. And I think it's very clear there. Is that a mistake on the MOD's part to make it so obvious about aliens, but not speak about it publicly?
I'm surprised they didn't redact that part of the report, to be honest. But there's always a get-out clause. And if you look carefully, you'll see that they use the phrase, they preface that remark with might be postulated that. So there's always a way out to say, yes, we think they were irradiated by something, but, this is just a theory. And, of course, they're not actually saying what came out and did that. No. But it was, having said that, of course, it was enough for the VA to settle.
It was, and the way that I think they used the word exceed, and they used the word data and UAP in that sentence. Now the paragraph is more complete. If you read the whole paragraph, to me, I think it is just it's just as explosive as what happened on December 16th, 2017.
Oh, it is, and it's important to say that if you look at that VA decision, they actually cite Project Condine's final report as being one of the documents that they assessed in making their decision. So for anyone who says, well, there's not really a link, oh, yes, there is.
Yeah. Now, what do we do with these sightings that happen nearly all the time, and certainly with night vision? We can go out and have these sky watches, out at Contact in the Desert, these different get-togethers, and we're looking at, and something zigzags through the sky, and what looks like a plasma light ball thing. What do we do with that? And what I mean by that is, it's obviously happening up there, and these sightings are real, and you can go see them yourselves. What do we do with that data, and why isn't the government responding to that? Why isn't mass media responding to these extraordinary things that seem to be happening every day?
Well, I think that goes back to the point that I made about the Ministry of Defense having imagery analysis resources and capabilities, because in a sense, the media have been so busy focusing on just looking at these three videos of the jets chasing the UFOs. They haven't asked the logical next step question. Well, okay, what happened when the DIA and others got their hands on this and did the analysis? What did they conclude? Where is the final report? Now, the answers to those questions, if indeed they ever do get revealed, will only come out when we get the response to some of the Freedom of Information Act requests that are currently in the system for the paperwork relating to this Pentagon program and the sort of what they did next. It's no good having these videos in one sense. The real question is, well, what did you do with them, and where is the analysis, and what's the results, and can we see them and peer review them?
Yeah, I have. I've been told by different quote unquote insiders out there that those reports were written and that they have seen them, and some are in possession of these. And I have said to everybody, go public with it. Show it to me. To continue the rabbit hole descent, right, where we're in this constant circle. It's a circle argument. And until we resolve it with something, we can stop, chasing our tails. And I hear this all the time. But, Nick, you bring up one of the most important points. If those videos are what they are, where's the analysis? Where are the reports? What did the DOD actually think was in these videos? Because that had to have happened. And yes. if it did, where are they? And I don't know. I don't know if that's where you need a whistleblower. That's where you need somebody to step forward. I don't think you're going to get, if they were written and if the DOD did care, then they're not going to release those reports. I just don't think they would.
They may not. Some of the work, if it was done by defense contractors, may be outside the scope of the Freedom of Information Act. And don't forget that the answer to some of this in terms of analysis might just be, we don't know. I mean, there could be an analysis which simply says, and I've seen similar things in the Ministry of Defense in the UK, might simply say, yes, these things are faster than us, more maneuverable, but we don't know what they are, where they're coming from, what they want, etc. That might be all that the analysis says. And of course, we come full circle with where we started in this discussion earlier. So some of the analysis, whether they said this in writing, or I doubt, but somebody probably looked at it and said, demons.
Yeah, right. Now, I want to thank you for coming on tonight. We're going to run out of time here, so I want to get that in case we do run out of time, and we'll see you on Thursday. But the naming of programs with any state is a very deliberate thing. The naming of programs, there isn't a mistake, and acronyms are important. It's just the way that the military is. And here, you brought this up earlier. We have this question now whether it's aerospace or aviation when it comes to ATIP and this Pentagon program. If it's aerospace, then it could be rockets and it could be something that's dealing with space. But if it's aviation, clearly that is a different naming of a program with a different intention to it, which would suggest terrestrial or Russian aircraft or Chinese aircraft. And your experience with the MOD is that a correct analysis?
Well, I think one of my sound bites on all this when the story first came out was there's a T in ATIP for a reason. And the T, of course, is threat. But if you take the new name, Advanced Aerospace Weapon System Applications,
right?
Again, applications, it's all about what practical, what are the threats and what are the opportunities. That's how government looks at any situation, threats and opportunities. Project Condign, we don't have time to talk about this now, but we can get into it another time. Project Condign talked about the potential weaponization of this phenomenon, and one of the other quotes was novel military applications. But I don't doubt that these people probably looked at next generation Russian and Chinese aircraft, missiles, drones, and satellites too. And in fact, embedding a UFO research program in amongst that is a very good place to put your program.
And so let's say that the program is, like I said, if it's aviation, do you think it's still possible? The OSAP acronym, when I look at that and my civilian eyes are reading it, it just sounds like a weapons program that could be satellite-based or otherwise, but it's also application, and I don't see ET there. It doesn't feel ET to me.
No, but then maybe that's the point if you were trying to hide a program looking at that. But then you come back to the point that government and the military, we change these sorts of titles all the time. My goodness, sometimes in my MOD career, I was working for a division and the division would change its title from 1 week to the next.
So, well,
you get these bureaucratic reorganizations all the time, and then sometimes you manipulate the wording to actually hide something.
Who is Nick Pope now over at the MOD? Is that program still running?
No, I don't believe it is. And if the Ministry of Defense is still looking at this, they are probably looking at it through defense contractors and in the context of a wider program looking at more conventional next generation aerospace and aviation threats. But if an Air Force pilot sees a UFO and if it gets tracked on radar, somebody's going to look at that. It just might not happen in a formally constituted UFO program.
Have you been contacted by the MOD since you left about information or maybe pulling you back in to look at some data?
No, I've been involved in the release program of these files, and I do occasionally have, I suppose, what you'd call some back channel contacts with the MOD over a couple of issues. But there's honestly no truth to the Nick Pope still secretly working for the government meme that's doing the rounds.
Yeah, You'll never get away from that, Nick. That's going to follow you forever. But I guess what I'm asking, though, is if a situation would arise, do you think that they would reach out to you for information?
Yes, myself and a handful of others who've been directly involved in this. Yes, it's such a deep specialist subject that maybe you never really leave in entirety.
Yeah. So what you're saying is you have an MOD burner phone.
Well, I'm on a maybe I put it like this. I'm on a leash. It's a very long one, but it's still a leash.
Nick, I want to thank you so much, and I'll see you on Thursday night. We'll open up the phone lines, and we'll hang out, and we'll have some fun, and we'll field some phone calls for an hour. Thank you so much. And everybody, Nick will be at Contact in the Desert June 1st through the 4th, along with yours truly and everybody else. What are you going to be talking about out there, Nick?
Funnily enough, my Saturday lecture is called Alien Technology, and my Sunday workshop is called Alien Religion.
From an atheist. You got to love that. Nick, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you.
We'll see you Thursday. Nick Pope, everybody. Again, he will be out at Contact in the Desert with us and the rest of you. And Thursday night, he'll be back here taking your phone calls. Thank you so much, Nick. And his new website, nickpope.net. All of his books are there. Appearances, everything is there. You can go check out nickpope.net. The links are at jimmychurchradio.com. All right, I'm going to open up the phone lines and hang out with all of you. I'll be right back. Stay with me.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously. Go Beckley Tappy.
Do you worry a lot? Whether you're a college student, busy professional, parent, or grandparent, ongoing stress and elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol can rob your memory, your health, and your future. Now you can combat the effects of stress and anxiety while improving your memory and recall at the same time with the dietary supplement Calm and Clever. Studies show that the ingredients in Calm and Clever reduce cortisol by as much as 30% in 1 to 2 weeks. Call 1-800-758-8746 or calmandclever.com.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. You know, there's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This segment of Fade to Black is proudly brought to you by New Pharma. GNU Pharma. Promo code F2B. F the number 2B. Right now, we'll get you 33% off of your order. Love New Pharma. All of their stuff. Relief. Oh, man. Amazing. Relief. Foundation. Relax. All of their formulations are just amazing, and they taste great too. And I do the drops. I do drops with everybody. It's really strange why I do that. I mean, I have all the capsules for everything, but I like the taste. Really strange. Okay, New Pharma, GNU Pharma, and the banners are over at jimmychurchradio.com. Just click and you can go and read about all the science behind New Pharma. Okay, I'm opening up the phone lines. Great conversation with Nick Pope, as always. 323-825-5045. Let me open up the phones over here. There we go. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. What did you think about that conversation? See, this is the thing, and I'm going to get to some other stuff here, too, in a second. Religion. Yeah, this is a very interesting take on this, one that is discussed sometimes on this show. And I relate so much of it to ancient history and lost history and religions and the mystery schools and today. I find all of that very, very interesting. But the religious aspect, which has hit the media in the last couple of days that Nick was just talking about, and there are those that appear to be inside of the military-industrial complex that are saying just that this demonic is the word that they were using. And I have to back up and say to myself, look, are they sitting on information that we don't know, specifically as to what this is? And when they say demonic, what are they referring to here? Is this Satan? Are these demons as portrayed in different religions around the world? Is it that? Or is it just that it's possible that they could have bad intentions and have nothing to do with religion? I find that as interesting as it gets. Or is it just paranoia from Christian or Catholic faith inside of the military-industrial complex? It's pretty interesting. I'm going to take that a bit further. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Deb from Sacramento.
Hi, Deb. How are you?
Good, Jimmy. I think you just nailed it on your third alternative.
What's that?
Fundamental beliefs within the military foundation of maybe what they believe and what they were raised with. Very traditional stoic men who have religious beliefs, and they equate demons back to the Bible, and they don't know the true source of what these beings are either. And so I don't know if the word is paranoia. I think that's possible. But if they go back to the Bible talks about angels and demons, and if they don't know what these entities are, just like a lot of my Christian friends, they're going to say, well, you worship demons. Well, no, I don't. Number one, you don't even know what I believe in, and they accuse you of worshiping demons because you think that God created other beings in the universe besides us.
What? Yes. And so if we look at it that way, and I'm talking about the hardcore religious fundamentalists of any background inside of the military-industrial complex, I always imagine it this way. Okay, so they've got a big boardroom, big meeting room inside of the Pentagon, and they're going to have a breakfast prayer meeting, right? And so they get together, The breakfast is laid out, and they bring in the head of Raytheon to speak to everybody that morning. And he says, okay, got this great new missile. It flies twice as far, twice as fast, half of the fuel, and it's got twice the amount of warhead, and we're going to be able to blow up entire cities, and we're going to sell these to you cheap. And, and they all go, oh, great. That is just amazing. Thank you so much for that. We'll buy a couple of hundred of those, and now let's pray. Right? And it's just like, wait, right? And it's just it just doesn't go together with me. But I know that it exists. Right? There's no way to say that it doesn't, because it does. Now, if that is the case, and they are afraid of these craft that they can't identify, and they want to say that they are demonic, and it's coming from that mindset, okay, all right, let it fly. I'm okay with that. Everybody's got opinions. But the other side of it, and the more frightening side of it, is, what is it that they know? Do they know something specific? And Tom DeLonge certainly implied last year on Fade to Black that was the case. And to be careful about who you're out there with the CE5 and waving hi to when you see these crafts fly by, because it may have a religious aspect to it that you're not going to want to mess with. So what are we dealing with here, Deb?
Well, Tom DeLonge calls them the bugs, and he thinks they're really bad and they're here to harm us. But that's because of what he's been told. How do we know? Just because someone tells you something, just like I was raised my whole life believing the Bible, and I believed in Christianity and everything they taught me, born in the blood Baptist. And it's like, just because that's what you've been told doesn't mean that's really how it is. You got to, at some point, learn to separate yourself, open your mind, and look for other things, because we've been brainwashed. And maybe he has been too. I don't know. But I don't necessarily believe, just because he believes a certain thing about them, that that's the way it is.
The aspect that you suggested, which I agree with, by the way, if we go back 3,000 years. Let's go back before Christ. Let's go back 3,000 years, 4,000 years. And something strange is in the sky, and they come down and make contact, share technology, move rocks, whatever, teach us how to make wheels, whatever it is, right?
Build pyramids.
Build pyramids, domesticate wheat. Whatever it is, right? Give us some really cool technology that we can handle. Well, if you are the leader of said community, you can't turn around and tell this uneducated, there's no colleges, right? There's something like that going on. But you can't teach or suggest to them that they are from another planet, that they are from whatever, right? Zeta Reticuli, and they're alien. You can't explain it to them like that. The only thing that they would understand is that was God, and God gave us wheat today. Well, okay, they're going to understand that, and that dogma gets handed down for centuries and millennia and turns into what it is today. That's a pretty simple explanation, and one that makes a lot of sense.
Well, I agree with you. Yeah. And, when it comes to the Bible, since we're talking religion, I believe there are aspects of the Bible, God, who was it that you had on not too long ago, that called them allegories, or God, what was he calling them? Well, they're like metaphors. And the Bible is interpretive, and the problem is a lot of information, truth, I believe, has been left out of the Bible and left out of the other religious texts all around the world, so we don't have we have puzzle pieces, but we don't have the full picture, and that's the problem, and they won't give us the full picture. We're having to continue to dig and search for the answers, which is, a great That's why this is such a great platform.
Well,
because we all get to give our ideas and, listen to different things.
What's interesting about that is over the past couple of thousand years, certainly since the council back at 330 AD, if we look at that, and when they assembled the Bible, the first versions of it,
Council of Nicaea,
yeah, Council of Nicaea. Since that council, the readers of different versions of the Bible are okay with doing that, with saying that. Well, there's stuff that we just don't know. We have to trust. Yes, but it's how you interpret. The meaning is this. They are okay with that because it has been that way for so long that is just the accepted version of the story. You know what? You have to put faith in. You have to trust. Yeah, there are certain things that are being held back. They're okay with the Vatican having secrets. They're okay with the church having secrets. They're okay with these secrets, and that we can't handle it. And when we do, when we're at a certain level, that knowledge will be exposed to us. But right now, we're too humble. It's really funny how that has that everybody is okay with it because that is what they have been told for so long, and it could be just as simple as what you're saying.
Well, the other thing that's infuriating to me is when I try very hard not to get into arguments and debates with my Christian friends, but they, say, well, God's not a God of confusion, and God's very clear about, what you should believe, and God's a God of love. And I'm like, well, if God's a God of love, I believe he is. And it's men that have twisted the truth and corrupted the scriptures and it not included everything. And it's men who put us in war. So what do you say when you think, how are you about, all these wars for all these centuries? God is allowing these wars to happen. So is he a God of love? Well, the Bible then immediately, they always forbade him. Well, the Bible says there'll be wars and rumors of wars, and there's always been wars all through the Bible. I said, just because there's been wars doesn't mean there should be wars.
Yeah, you're right about that.
But they're okay with massive killing.
Oh,
God's a God of love.
Well, there's two versions of God in the Bible, and one of them was a badass. No question about it. Deb, thank you so much for the phone call, and we'll see you tomorrow night on the show. Great conversation as always.
Thanks, Jimmy. Take care.
Thank you, Deb. Great phone call right there. Hi, you're on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Good afternoon, Jimmy. It's Mirella.
Hi. What are you doing? What time is it there right now?
It's as usual, my heart is just beating.
Oh, calm down.
Calm down.
Calm down. How are you?
It's 1:45.
In the afternoon?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I like your side of the world. Not only that, see, you're a time traveler. See, actually, it's tomorrow there. So what's on your mind tonight, Morella?
I had to call because this subject is very close to my heart. I've calmed down a lot since December, which is good because all the things that have fallen into place, and I've been able to make sense of everything, and I feel very free now to be able to talk my truth and what I've been learning the last 20 years or all my life. So I've got one daughter who's 26, having a baby here near me in Sydney, but she's just converted to Islam. And she's been reading the Quran for quite a few years now. I was brought up a Catholic girl, like in Catholic school with the nuns, and went to Catholic high school. My other daughter in LA is with my 3 grandchildren. I go to a fantastic church in LA called C3. Anyway, she Skypes me every Monday morning, and I listen to the church. They're at church. The kids and everyone's at church, and I listen to the service, and it's beautiful. But what I want to say is that I've read a lot. Like, I'm 56 now, but my whole life has been involved with like the healing, learning iridology, natural therapies. But because I was at Catholic school as a little girl, I also have a real deep affinity with Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene and the stories of the Bible. After the girls were born, I went and did theology. So I did 2 years of theology. So I got really into the stories of the Bible. Now, what I want to say here is that since December, I've been listening to Fade to Black and to you, and you've had everybody that I've been following since before 2010. So the thing is that everything they talk about the Bible is what I was learning in theology. However, what I agree with that lady that just spoke now is that probably when all those guys in NASA or the Pentagon all die out, like this whole generation die off, and our kids are then in the Pentagon and so forth, these subjects are going to be real, and they're going to be open to, it's going to be a whole different world. And I'm excited about that. I think I've called you a couple of times, maybe 3, and I've been overexcited.
And that's not what's only great about where we are today as a community, but certainly Fade to Black or On Stellar, the community, being able to reach out. You can call in and talk to me. You can make friends. You've made friends, right? That you've
what it's done is it's made my world real, where I lived in my dreams, I lived in my channeling, whatever I was doing here at home, I lived in my paintings, I lived in my work, 30 years as an animation artist at Walt Disney for 12 years, and I know how easy it is to make film look really authentic and real, sound-wise, visual-wise, everything. Well, the boys were all doing it 25 years ago, and I was working with them doing the Matrix here in Sydney, and the boys were doing all sorts of things. You can't believe it. And I'd be there, at lunch break, and they'd have their light metal music playing, and they're making all sorts of little films for themselves. And they looked so real, and they were real, and they were putting them together from this and that and this and that. It was UFO talk all the time. It was conspiracy theories talk all the time, and the boys were always, and girls, some beautiful women animators that I worked with.
Right. And what is it?
So,
But what does that tell you?
I've changed.
And what does that tell you about our future? I mean, we're in good hands, aren't we?
Absolutely, yes. Because what's happening now, I think, and I talk now because I can talk to the girls about other extra-dimensional beings. I can talk about extra-dimensional this and that and their dreams. Olivia with the Quran, she's talking about beings of light. She's talking about the words that are written in the Quran, historical sites, and everything that Graham Hancock talks about, things that David Wilcox talks about, Linda Moulton Howe talks about, who else is there? Emery, blah, 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 blah. I can't name them all. And they're the pioneers. And we are the followers. But we're leaders now. Our kids are going to be in the Pentagon. Our kids are... My first granddaughter, she's 10 in LA. She's there, blah, blah, blah. But her best friend, and they went to a big amusement park there, and I was just, blown away by the size of the rides over there. But the kids, were allowed on this one and that one. And her best friend is like, I said, what do you want to do? Like, what are you interested in? She, I want to be a medical doctor at NASA. An astronaut doctor. She's 10. And my 7-year-old she is like an encyclopedia. So these kids are like knowing. They already know. Now they want to study it. Now they want to talk about it. Now they're calling Nana. Nana's old now, but Nana was in the 70s when they were landing on the moon, 60s, born, landing on the moon. And then they're asking me all these things, and I'm getting all my answers from you and everyone.
Oh, no, that's cool.
Because I remember they're reminding me of everything that I needed in the times going through 10-year periods of like shatterings and recreating myself again, which is what I think women do often throughout their lives, recreate themselves after great shatterings. But shatterings are not a problem. Like, to realise truths are not a problem. It's going forward and making the truths real and tangible and readable and talkable between ourselves.
Right.
And so far I've got a little, from knowing no one, I've got a little handful of people that go, oh, what was Jimmy talking about yesterday, or whenever I see them. And it's good. It's also good. And I don't think there's any reason to be analysing everything. I'm a psychotherapist. I did theology, but then I went and trained and did 3 years of psychotherapy. So I've been, and then 4 years in caring and so forth with children. But there's nothing to be upset about.
Well,
even if people really let us down.
Yes, and you have to think about this. When we were kids, I'm talking about you and myself, right? When we were kids and we're sitting around, smoking weed in high school, and we would go, one day we're going to run Congress. One day we're going to be the politicians, and we're going to make weed legal. And we'd be like, that'll never happen. Right.
Yeah, when you can get out and do it.
But look where we are today, right? And so
exactly.
And we have to base everything on our own experiences. So you are right in that the generations, the millennials and X-Gen, those generations are going to eventually be the politicians and the world leaders and the government leaders and the community leaders. And they know ET is real. They know we've been visited. They know that's the way they've been raised. And there's
You know what? My girls even know how to tell the difference between the demon and an ET.
That's what I'm talking about. And so that's what
exactly.
That is where we are going to be. I cannot.
You don't know. You better ask them. Like, that's the point. I've got to talk to these young people.
Oh, I do every day.
Like Micah.
Yeah.
Micah. Yeah, where is he?
He's amazing. But see, I cannot imagine what it would be like in Australia in Parliament and have everybody up there arguing about ET. But it's going to happen, right?
It's on the news. No, don't worry. It does come on the mainstream media here. When that old Pentagon in December came out, it was on the news here. And then they ran some old UFO footage that they'd done a 50-year, of the big sighting down in Melbourne. But they ran it after, they did this 50 years. The people from the kids that saw all that were at school, are now in their 50s. Beautiful people, professional people, looking lovely, talking beautiful, came back and did a 50-year reunion and told the story again and blah, blah, blah. But it was real here.
Yes, it was.
And then suddenly, on the morning, news time and that, they have special people from, the observatory and the science labs come in and talk about stuff as well. So but there's just not enough for them to run with it. But wait till the kids get a hold of, their jobs.
No,
in Congress.
It's going to happen.
Parliament.
Marilla, I got to head to a break here and take a commercial, but thank you so much, and it's always great to hear your voice.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. See, because out there, I'll talk to you, Marilla. Thank you. Out there, it's her day because she's a time traveler. She's in Australia. It's Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Taking phone calls, all that fun stuff. I'll be right back.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com. Hello, Fadernauts. This is Jimmy Church, and I'm introducing New Pharma, a company whose products are based on science. Human function based on the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. New Pharma firmly believes in this science, and their research indicates that support of the ECS provides the beneficial effects for a healthy lifestyle. New Pharma's science includes relief capsules for pain relief, sleep capsules, which are natural support for occasional sleeplessness. Foundation is support for your ECS, and Fit capsules support your active lifestyle. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2B for a 33% discount on all of their products. Or visit newpharma.com for all of the knowledge on the science. That's GNUpharma.com. Go Beckley Tappy. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This segment of Fade to Black is proudly brought to you by New Mana. Emergency food storage for you and your family. 25-year shelf life, MSG and GMO free, and made in America. Every order over $100 will get you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Promo code is Jimmy. When you go over and click on the Numana banner at jimmychurchradio.com, that'll take you over to our landing page at Numana, and you can enter the promo code right there. And there you go. It's very cool. It's an amazing deal. Great discount. Best deal on the net, by the way. And it's the taste. It comes down to the taste. When that emergency arises, you really want to impress your family for being the king of the house that you are, or queen. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? You're live.
Hi there.
You're live.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Who's calling?
My name's Mike. How you doing?
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. I didn't actually expect to get through.
Well, you did. You did. What's on your mind tonight?
Quite a few things, but I'd like to talk a little bit about On Stellar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you would too, right?
It's an amazing platform, and I'm having such a great time over there, hanging out with everybody. But what do you want to talk about?
I created a group on there. It's actually called Creative Connections. It's kind of like... Oh, I'm nervous.
It's okay. It's okay. Why did you want to create a group?
Well, I wanted as many people to get together on there, and it's mostly actually about meditation.
Right.
And in this kind of subject matter, you hear a lot of people talk about how I think it was the yogi that the Beatles went and saw, how he was what was it?
Excuse me. But my point is, Mike, it was easy for you to set up that group on Stellar, right?
Absolutely.
And how many have joined?
I'm in over 500, I think, now.
Oh, holy crap! That is amazing. That is amazing. And what's really cool, and I'm glad that you wanted to set up the group and that it was easy to do, and now you've got 500 members, because On Stellar is such a focused platform. It's not focused on laser focused. It's focused on our community, but our community is broad. Right, so it's not just UFOs. Huge. It's not health and wellness. It's not near-death experiences or Bigfoot or astral projection. It's not. It's all of, and that is a wide stroke of the pen. Right,
it's huge.
Right, so
I agree.
You can leave your politics and check that at the door. You check your attitude at the door. You come here and hang out. But for you to be able to do that, the reason why. In my opinion, that you were able to gather 500 people in your group is because unlike Facebook or other platforms, everything is out there. So it's you're dealing with people that have no idea what you're talking about. But on Stellar, you're able to put this group together and get a gathering of like-minded individuals. And I commend you on that. We've only had the platform up for, less than 2 weeks, and you've got 500 people. If you would have done this on Facebook, you would.
I couldn't have done it. No way. There's not that many like-minded people out there for that.
Right.
I don't think so.
Right.
But it's definitely easy to get set up, and I know that there's a few Fader nuts on there as well, and I want to give a shout out to them, and just thought I'd come say hello and
thank
let
you for
everyone
that.
know that it worked out well on there.
Okay, and really quick, I've got to get to phone calls. What's the name of the group?
Creative Connections.
Creative Connections. Everybody go join Michael's group. Thank you for the phone call, Michael.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. Great phone call right there. And it's one of the wonderful things about On Stellar. First off, the community is a large one. It's large. We're talking about millions and millions and millions of people in the paranormal, supernatural, conspiracy community that covers everything, right? But On Stellar now has grown so much, and we're barely getting into the beta stage, which is going to be in the next day or two, and we're not officially launched yet. And it's crazy. There are thousands and thousands of people on Stellar right now, and you need to go and set up your account. It's simple to do. Just go to alpha.onstellar.com, get your account set up, and start hanging out. It's really cool. I have, I'm looking here. I've got almost 2,000 friends, and I'm followed by about 2,200 people. And that's what's going on here right now. And it's a visible community that you can go and make a difference for yourself. And I want to say this. I'm going to get to the back to the phone calls here in just a second. I want to say this. One of the coolest things about On Stellar is this, and you need to wrap your head around this thought. You are able to, and maybe you've never done this before in your life, you are able to go write an article, maybe post an image, a photograph in it. You are able to write an article and post it and immediately get it trending and get recognized and have people read your thoughts or your research or your concerns. And you've never been able to do that before. You can't do that on other social media platforms. And this is a social media platform, and everything that you want to do, friends and groups and events and videos and uploads and likes and comments and all of that, it's great for that with no advertising. But you are able to go and write an article. When was the last time you saw yourself on the bestseller list on the New York Times? But here you can do just that and go and click on the trending page, which I'm doing right now. And I'm looking at this trending page, and I can go down and look at all of these different people that are trending and that you would have never have heard from before, or they would have never been exposed to this platform before. And it's just absolutely stunning to see how many articles by so many people that are sitting here trending and being read on all subjects. It is great. And that's one of the coolest things. And look at everybody messaging me. I'll catch up to everybody during the break. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy. It's Eric, Awakening Man.
Hey, Eric, Awakening Man. Why is your name Awakening Man?
Well, when I got on Twitter 58,000 tweets ago, about 2.5 years ago, I just knew that I was, awakening to this whole paranormal UFO, all of it. It was just, to be quite frank, for the first 50 years of my life, I had never used the internet. I didn't have a computer. I didn't have a laptop. I had nothing. I didn't even give a crap about it.
Right.
And then I went through a really heavy illness for about 8 months, and during that time I couldn't work, so I was just kind of home bored, got tired of watching TV, and I just decided, I'm going to get myself a laptop. And then this lady said, you ought to get on Twitter, and then I met John Polk, and then it went from there. So I started awakening to this reality that we talk about on your show, 5 nights a week or 4 nights a week or whatever.
Right. Okay. Well, that answers that longing question that everybody has.
Yeah.
All right. What's on your mind tonight?
I got a couple quick questions for you.
Sure.
I want to tell you a really good story. Now, is there I'm on Stellar, but is there an app like Twitter, in other words, where you can get an app and just click on it, or is that not set up yet?
We have to get the platform solid first. And as soon as that, and then the app will follow, because there's no sense in doing an app if the platform's not running. They got to work together, right?
Right.
Okay, so
Twitter's going to be Jack's going to be a little bummed when we all jump over to OnStellar, and you know what I mean. I'm wondering if that's going to happen.
Well,
Fade to Black on OnStellar.
Yeah, and I like Jack, as you know, and Twitter has been very cool to us, and I don't have any issues with Twitter. There are people that do, but the people that have issues with Twitter is because they're doofuses and they step out of line. So, but if you stay in bounds and you play by the rules, Twitter's great. You know, Twitter.
I love Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter's amazing. And I know that, I don't know, how many followers do I have on Twitter? Let me see.
78,000 on Twitter.
No. It's something like that. I got like 15.
That is 72, 78. It's up there. You're only following about 81 people. I mean, I won't feel like I've actually fully awakened until one day I look and you followed me on Twitter. Then I'll know that I've awakened.
Oh, is that what this is about? Is that what this is about? See, but I know that when I do a tweet, it goes out to everybody. You know, and that's the problem that I have with Facebook and YouTube. They control who sees what. And I don't know. You know, I don't know. I do a post on Facebook. I don't know if 2 people are going to see it or 5,000. And I know it's not 5,000 because they have software that's running now and they choke that back. But on Stellar, everybody in your friends list is going to see what you post. Everybody, you're not going to get choked back. You're not going to get censored. And that is paramount on Stellar, that the reach. And you're not going to have, I don't think, we'll see if the software just starts to bog down. I don't think you need to have a limit on your friends list. You know, how many friends you can have. On my company page for Fade to Black, I don't know what we have over there, but it's 10,000 or 15,000 that are over there. What's the difference with that versus friends? Why have the limit of 5,000 friends? I don't know why that is there. I have over on Facebook. You know what? I logged out of Facebook today. I logged in.
Wow.
I logged in for a second to check on a message I was expecting from somebody, and I logged out. I'm not logged into Facebook right now, and I'm not interested in it. But so if I was logged in, I could check. I probably have I don't know, a couple of thousand friend requests that are sitting there that I can't interact with any of them. And I can't go through and do anything with that. And that's not really cool to me. You know, if somebody wants,
I get it.
You know,
you're that kind of guy. You're kind of stuck in the middle because at heart you're like a fade or not. I mean, you're one of us, but then you're in the forefront now. You're on the radio. I mean, you just don't have the time of the day to deal with everybody, even though in your heart you probably want to. I get that.
Yeah, but you know what? There's a lot of people out there that want to see the images of me cooking ribs on a Sunday. but you know what I mean? And I get that. And I try to interact with as many people as I can. And I find that part of social media so cool that I can really have a real-time conversation with somebody in Istanbul, right? In the UK or Brazil. That is Japan. That is so cool. You know, and to have that worldwide connection, and it's instant. Well, you're going to have that on Stellar, and you're not going to get choked back. I have gotten messages from all around the world on Stellar, and from so many different countries. And this was never, you know, I know I'm talking about Internet 101 here, and we all understand that we can connect around the world. But please understand that we put this platform together and launched it 2 weeks ago. And the people over at OnStellar and the developers that are putting this together 24 hours a day, have reached out to a community that is global. And they need a voice, and they need to get together, and they don't want their data stolen, and they don't want to stare at ads, and they don't want to be censored, and they want to have a place where they can get together and share ideas. And all of this was put together with that in mind. And you go and you surf around and you don't see advertising. It's just like it's the weirdest thing, which it's all over YouTube. I have people complaining to me. I get this email, dude, man, take the ads out of YouTube. It's like, it's just, and I understand that, but it's just part of the world that you live in. You go to YouTube, you're going to see advertising. Everybody monetizes YouTube, right? And so, yep. And this is what's funny. I get these emails, dude, man, take your ads off of YouTube. Well, and then you have the other side of the coin. You have somebody that is uploading videos on YouTube. YouTube decides that their content isn't advertiser friendly. They remove the ads, and then they complain. YouTube took away my advertising. Well, wait a minute. Do you want? It's just like I don't get that part of it, and that the shooter that went up and shot up YouTube was upset over that. So you're not going to have that over at OnStellar. All right. So the app.
Well, fast forward to. I got to ask you: have you been to the Integratron or the Giant Rock?
Drove past it.
Okay, so I'm just inviting you and Rita formally, and I'll make arrangements however we have to. But Friday at 1 o'clock at the Indian Wells Renaissance Hotel, there's a convoy. Brad Olson and a bunch of us are going to go out there, and we're going to do that. So I'm just inviting you. It'd be kind of fun. We're going to have a good time out there, and there's going to be some stories being told. So it'd be kind of cool if you can make it, just to let you know.
Yeah, and thank you for the invite. Definitely, if we can't make it, do me a favor, shoot a lot of video. Well, you're going to have your iPad with you. That thing doesn't ever shut off. But, shoot some video.
Yeah. Okay, well, let me real quick, because I know I don't want to eat up all this time here, but this is important, I think. So, I told you about my sighting last week, and so the next day I woke up, and, I'm sure you remember that day or you've seen a few things, that black triangle I remember you talked about. You wake up the next day, and you're just, you weren't hallucinating, but you're just trying to figure it out. So I actually was trying to kind of debunk my own sighting. So on my way home, I stopped in Mojave, in California, over there at the Mojave Spaceport, where Virgin Galactic is, and Stratolaunch, Paul Allen, and they're building those spacecraft out there.
Yeah, I've been there.
And I was kind of blown away. Have you been out there yet?
I've got pictures of me and Branson. Rita, whatever happened to those pictures? I've got pictures of me and Branson standing next to the one that crashed before it crashed on the runway. Wow. On the runway, two of us.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they just 3 weeks ago. I didn't know this till just Friday last week that they did a launch. And anyway, the only reason why I brought all that up is I had time to kill, so I went into the. I'm not going to say where, because I did talk to a lady that worked there, and I'm not so sure if I should reveal her information, but she did tell me about 6 or 7 minutes of information that I found quite interesting. So I'm not going to go through all that right now, but the bottom line was, at the end of our little chat, I said to her, I said, I was out there in the Mojave desert the other day, and I was looking at this tower that looked like a cell tower, but I don't know if it was a cell tower. For all I know, it could have been some other kind of tower. And I said, and then all of a sudden this orb appeared, and I looked at it, and then I told her the story, and then I said to her, I said, well, this lady's probably about 55, 60 years old. I said, what do you think that was? And without hesitation, she says, we have a lot of exotic technology. That was her exact, without even missing a beat. She goes, we have a lot of exotic technology. And I thought to myself, well, man, could we actually have technology that would create an illusion? Have you ever thought about that? With 5G coming and this, this so-called fake alien invasion that's been projected since way back in Werner von Braun days, do you think that they might already have these towers set up where they can actually project these objects in the sky to make us think that we're seeing things that we're not really seeing? What do you think about that?
Well, have you ever seen the concert footage of Ronnie James Dio?
No.
Okay. I think you can see it's called Dio Returns or Dio, or, the return of, and so it's a hologram. You've seen Tupac and all of that stuff, but you watch those concerts that they did. It was Dio on tour, and this hologram of him is so bleeping real. I'm serious, and it's fun to watch. You're watching it, and you're like, no way, right? And you think it's going to be cartoonish, and you're going to think it's going to be washed out or whatever. It's Ronnie. So now, could they turn around and do that in the sky? If the technology is commercially available, where you can go and do a concert tour with Ronnie Dio and sell tickets for that, then what is the technology that is available to the military, right? At another level? Could it be possible? The answer is yes. Now, man, do you remember Contact in the Desert last year, the Close Encounters, when they did the hologram out in the desert with the Close Encounters flying saucer out there in the desert?
I didn't see that. That was last year?
That was
out
last
there,
year.
but I didn't see that part.
Okay. I'm telling you.
I saw the real UFO in the sky when Gillian
No.
And there's about 20 of us. I saw that.
No. So they projected this hologram out in the desert of this flying saucer with lights blinking on it, sitting out. It was about a quarter mile away out in the desert behind the main stage at night. And I'm telling you, I was sitting right there with Rita and Victoria and a bunch of the Fadernauts. And I'm looking out at that thing, and I said to everybody, if I was a dick, I would take a picture of this right now with my cell phone or shoot a video and post this up right now, because it's real. It's real. It's a hologram. It's out in the desert. But if you shot a video of that, and the concert footage, right? And you go, oh my God, what's that? And you pan the camera out, and you're shooting the video of this craft with blinking lights out in the desert. You zoom in on it, and it's a real video. It's not CG.
Yeah, it's not hard to fool people. There's so many videos.
That's not what I'm saying, Eric. I'm saying that if I did that, I am shooting a real video. It's not CG. It's not something that's edited in. It's not After Effects. It's a real video of a craft that's sitting out in the middle of the desert. The craft happens to be a hologram, but that doesn't matter. The point is, it would be a convincing video because the video is real. And I could have people's reaction. I could have everybody. We could be pointing at it. But I'm not that kind of person. But if that can be done, right, then what? And that's commercially available technology. Well, what does the Department of Defense have at their disposal? Probably something pretty convincing. Would they use it for what Greer and others are talking about? This fake alien invasion, and that would be the next step, and this would be the great false flag, and what Ronald Reagan was talking about if we had this threat, from outer space. Would they use it for those purposes? My point is, I made this before, Eric. It would only work for so long. Why? Because it's a hologram. And if you saw something like that, or I did, and you take your AR-15, of which you probably have 10 at your house, and you go outside and you start shooting your AR-15 at this thing, and you realize that the bullets are going straight through it, and that it's a projection, then the great hoax is off. The great alien invasion is off. You go and you start flying these things around over Europe, and somebody decides to start shooting missiles at it, and the missiles are passing straight through it, and they realize it's not showing up on radar, and planes start driving through it, whatever. And the other part is you got to get this hologram to shoot back, right? Or it's not an invasion. Right. so it's useless. So that's my whole thing on it. I just it would only work for its shock value for a few seconds, but once it's it's not shooting back, you're flying planes through it.
I got to give the last part here. This is 1 minute, maybe 1.5 minutes, because this is the 180 that I've been saving for you.
Okay.
This is the best part of my call. Right. It's a true story. So Friday, I couldn't, oddly enough, I was out there. Those were supposed to be cell towers. I picked up my phone and tried to call everybody, and I couldn't get any phone service. I had 0 bars. It said no service. So I couldn't figure that out. But the next day, I called up this guy that I met in Sedona named Tom Dongo, who's I don't know if you ever heard of him. He's been retired from the UFO community for about 10 years. But he is a psychic and also a remote viewer. And I told him the story, and he says, "Wow, that's interesting." And then he calls me back later in the day, and he said that he remote viewed that area that I was at. And I'm not making this up. And he said that he was trying to remote view the orb. And he said that these humanoid beings, I know this is going to sound crazy, but it's the truth. I'm not making this up. These humanoid beings in these very beautiful, colorful, shiny outfits, 4 of them, 2 men and 2 women, that kind of looked Chinese-looking, about 5 feet tall, appeared in his remote view vision, and he had a conversation with them. And they said that they were some star system that I've never heard of before. Penafall or Penna something or another, I can't remember right now. And so then Tom asked these guys, he said, what did you see Eric out there? What interest do you have in Eric? And I didn't know he was going to do this. And they told Tom that I swear to God, he goes, "We are the Watchers, and we have been watching Eric since he was 5 years old. We watched Eric when he was 5, and he met us when he was 10, but he probably won't remember that." And that blew my mind. So now I'm down going to get some regression therapy. I got to know if this is real or if what the deal is. But that's a true story I just told you.
Very interesting.
I thought it was interesting, too.
Yeah, very interesting. It's great when I got to head to a commercial, Eric, and as always, thank you for calling in. But it's funny when right before Eric tells the story, he always says, "And this is true. It's a true story." Eric, we love you, man. And
okay, brother.
I'll speak to you real soon. You got it.
Look forward to seeing your contact.
You got it. Thank you so much, Eric.
Brother, bye.
Let's take a commercial break right here. Love it when you get the phone call from Eric. You never know what's about to happen when Eric calls into the show. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'm going to keep the lines open. I wanted to go over something, but you know what? I'm enjoying the phone call, so we'll keep the phone lines open. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. This is Fade to Black. Stay with me.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your girl Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy Jimmy Church on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
So you went to dinner last night, you had your favorite pasta. Ugh. Or maybe you had a heavy, spicy meal and it left you. Ugh. GetTheT.com. Maybe you mowed down a huge steak and your plumbing is all plugged. Ugh. GetTheT.com. Our super strength tea will take care of your occasional. Ugh. It's all organic and non-GMO. Get rid of ugh. We have so many great supplements, but our super tea is number one. GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of fade to black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hey, can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. The holidays are coming. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, keeping the phone lines open. I had a whole thing I was going to read. I've been trying to get this done, and one night I'm just going to I'm going to do a show with me, right? With me. I've got stuff, I've got stuff that I want to present and read and get out there. So one night, I swear, that's it. I'm just, it's going to be me night. I need me time. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? Okay, you got.
Hello?
Yeah, turn me down in the background.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, can't do that. Okay, who's calling?
Hey, this is Pat.
Hey, Pat.
From Illinois.
Pat from Illinois. What city?
Living in Breeze.
Well, where's that?
You know where Carlisle Lake is?
Oh man, do you know how many lakes are in Illinois? You're playing.
Yeah,
with
but that's the largest one in Illinois. It's a big deal.
It's funny. I went and looked. It's funny you bring that up, Pat. Last week I was surfing around, looking at different places that I've lived, and looking at the old houses and schools and stuff. And I zoomed back, and I found Diamond Lake, near Mundelein. It's in Mundelein. And I zoomed back off of that, and there's right there, it's 50 lakes. And I forgot, Crystal Lake and all these lakes that I used to go to when I was a kid. And I forgot about how many lakes are there in northern Illinois. I can't speak for southern. I grew up.
I'm about 45 minutes from St. Louis.
Oh, yeah, you're southern. So same amount, though? A lot of lakes down there?
Yeah, lots of little lakes, a lot of farmers building their own lakes, so.
Yeah, right. Okay, so what's on your mind tonight?
Hey, I was calling up to tell you about the first time I ever experienced the paranormal.
Okay.
I was about 16.
Yep.
A buddy of mine, his parents go out for the weekend. He calls me, he says, hey, man, come on over. We were young. We go over there. We're just watching movies. All of a sudden, it's about time to go to bed. He's like, oh, man, I'll set you up downstairs in the basement. All right, that's cool. We go down there. So on the way down the stairs, he's got a dog, and that dog starts staring at me and barking. I'm like, what in the world? He goes, just sidestep. So I sidestep, and the dog's staring in the same spot. Should have known something then. So bypass that, go downstairs, lay in the bed. I'm laying there. He goes in his room, which is in the basement, and he shuts his door.
Right.
And I'm laying there, and all of a sudden, I feel like something's next to me. And I'm like, man, Jay, his name was Jay. I said, man, go back to bed, dude. Quit bugging me, And I said it a couple times. Finally, I yelled, I'm like, dude, seriously. And he yells from his room. He's like, what are you yelling about? And I'm like, what in the hell? So as I'm laying there, I turn my face towards the wall. All of a sudden, somebody's hand grabs my shoulder. I couldn't yell. I couldn't move. I felt pins and needles throughout my whole body. All of a sudden, I kept pushing, and it was like it just broke. And when it did, I kind of rolled off the bed. And when I did, I swear, I see a mist, and it's kind of like a lady, and it just floated away. Okay, boom, I jump up in the bed, cover my head up, and I'm like, oh, man, what in the world? I'm tripping out. Something's happening. I don't know what's going on. Never said nothing to him. Next day, he calls me up. He goes, hey, you want to come spend the night again? I'm like, hey, I need to talk to you about something, man. You're going to think this is weird. I said, but while I was there, some weird stuff happened. He goes, oh, man, don't say nothing. I'm like, what? He goes, man, I'll come over and talk to you. He comes over and proceeds to tell me that there's somebody in the house. It's a woman. And at nighttime, it used to tell stories to his sister. His sister at the time was like 7 or 8 years old.
Oh, man.
And it would move keys, and anything you would set down in the house, it would move them.
Oh, man.
And it would just sit there and make weird noises for people. And that's why they wouldn't invite people to the house. I was the first person that ever went to his house and stayed the night with him, because he's like, only the family knows. Well, after that, I knew his family, and I talked to his family, told him, I said, man, why didn't you guys tell us? He goes, well, we didn't want to, we don't tell nobody that. And then one of the kids goes, yeah, the grandpa was down there and it choked him. And I was like, oh, man.
Oh, man. Oh, okay. So I got to ask you, Pat, did he describe, you didn't tell, he was telling you, right? Okay. So
yeah, the only person that would talk to the girl was his sister, which, like I said, was like 7 or 8 years old. But that lady would go in there and read stories at night because he actually caught her and it disappeared. But he didn't see it disappear because he didn't see it. But when he walked into the room, because he heard his sister, and he's like, who are you talking to? And she turned around, looked at him, and says, the lady tells me stories at night when I can't sleep. They're telling me this after, I've already spent the night. Dude, I've never went back to that house.
Now, did he describe what she looked like to you before you told him?
No.
Okay. I'm wondering, it's obviously, it should be the same entity.
Yeah, it's the same. They actually had a paranormal group go out there and actually said that there's something in the house, but that's all they would tell them.
Very
interesting. They still own the house. His mom and dad still own the house and live there.
Now, let's go back to your experience. Did you hear anything? Was there any contact?
No, like I said, it touched my shoulder, and I couldn't move. Like, if you're laying on your side, you're trying to roll back over. I couldn't roll over because it felt like somebody's hand was pushing me and not letting me turn over. And it was like pins and needles throughout my body.
Wow.
When your foot falls asleep and you feel the pins and needles?
Yep.
That was my whole body. And I couldn't move. But like I said, I finally broke it. And when I did, I rolled over because I was pushing so hard. I guess when it stopped touching me, I rolled. And when I did, I fell off, the bed a little bit, looked up, and I just seen a mist. And it was kind of a shape of a lady, like just floating, and went off. And like I said, I jumped back up, blanket over my head, and was like, okay.
How do you know, Pat, that it was a lady? Why do you say that?
Because the figure was like a gown, like when it was floating, it was like gown at the bottom, like kind of, Victorian era where they had the dresses that were big and poofy. It was like that. And she was just walking, and you could just tell because it was floating.
Any hair, anything like that, or just a mist outline?
No, I didn't know. Like I said, it was a mist, but you could just tell the outline. You couldn't see physically anything. It was just kind of faded out.
Now, that's a Class A encounter, by the way. How are you? How did your beliefs change?
Well, brought up Christian, never, stay away from that stuff. But after that happened, it just like, your whole world just kind of changes. Because even to this day, I sit back and I go, man, maybe that was just, I don't know. Maybe I was just young, and sometimes you still look back and kind of go, try to put something to it, but you can't.
Right. And are you okay with it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm good with it because after that, I kind of started talking to more people and kind of got into it and stuff. Now it doesn't bother me, but still, once in a while, it's like you believe in the paranormal. You're into it. You read everything, get on Stellar, reading everything, finding things out. But then when it's really happened to you, sometimes you go back and question that because you're like, man, did that really happen?
Right.
Because it's just so out there because it's things. I mean, how many people actually had something like that happen? Not many.
Right. And what was that sound? Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear nothing.
Wow. That was bizarre. Did the audience... I got to see this on Twitter. Was that my mind? Did you guys hear that? It sounded like a ooh. Did anybody hear that? After the show, I got to go back and play this. 9:43. Okay, so 15 minutes towards the end of the show. All right, yeah, that was pretty creepy sounding. Life after death. Right? Or interdimensional or parallel worlds. All of this is now possible because of what you witnessed. Certainly, our simple little 3D existence isn't all there is.
Correct, but you can also look at it like sometimes it's just a moment in time, and it just stays there.
Yeah, everybody's saying that they heard it. You didn't hear that. I heard it in my headphones.
No, I can hear you on the phone, and that's it. I got everything else kind of turned down.
Wow. It sounded like ooh. Yeah,
hey,
somebody
thanks. I appreciate this. So I'll be under the blankets if you need me.
I know, right? Oh, man. Somebody just said, Jimmy, that made my heart start beating faster. I heard it. Jimmy, big fun. I heard it. Sounded exactly like what you said. Creepy noise. I heard it. What the heck was that sound? I heard it. There's like 50 tweets right in a row. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, that was weird, man. That was weird, and it was through... I'm just sitting here. You guys are watching me on the bunker cam. I'm not pressing any buttons. I'm not doing anything, and it just like came through. I have noise gates and stuff, so... I'm in a perfectly quiet. I'm in the bunker, right? So it's quiet in here. So if I take off my headphones like this, right? This is it is the quietest thing you've ever heard. So I don't. Wow, that was weird, man. It was cool. Whatever it was cool. Well, that's an amazing. Now, did you go back? That's what I meant to ask. Did you go back?
No, I never went back to the house.
Why not?
Well, I was good with everything until the one person in his family told me, "Oh yeah, it choked our grandpa." I was like, "Yeah, I'm not going back there."
Well, because
I'm not taking chances.
I'm with you on that. Plus,
I said, it was the first time that ever happened, so it was like it just threw me for a loop.
Well, and you said it yourself. It touched you, so you know that it has the ability to go physical.
Right.
Yeah. Man, Pat, that's an amazing. That's a life-changing event. You're right.
I'll call sometime and give you some more because I've had other things throughout life.
I want to hear it all. Thank you so much, my friend. Be safe.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thank you, Pat. That's a great phone call right there. And for an entity to go physical, that's a trippy thing. But right in the middle of him telling that story, we had the ghost effect. That was what that was. I don't even know. I've got to go back and listen to it. Somebody just said it sounded like the Death Star powering up. That's from Roger. Philip says Doppler effect. Tampa Rick, he heard it swoosh. I run Grado's cans. It sounded like your mind to me. That was a low frequency hum that happens now and then. Yeah, like dude, Jimmy. Yeah, that was good. That was cool. All right, let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy, this is Ronnie. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Ronnie, how are you? That's the question.
Fantastic. I had called once before. I was, I don't know if you remember, asked you about John Rappaport, if he was the same guy from MASH. But
oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Yes.
Yeah, that's besides the point. But I had a little paranormal story I'd like to share with you.
All right. Well, let me ask you this: did you hear that strange sound a few seconds ago?
I did hear it.
And what was it?
I have no idea.
What did it sound like? I mean, it
just like what you described. I mean, it was very faint, but I did hear it.
It was crazy, and it was. I don't know. It didn't sound. It didn't sound artificial. It didn't sound like.
Maybe.
And
maybe that last caller's ghost is visiting you.
I'm telling you what, I'm in a completely soundproof room, completely, right?
But is it ghost proof?
That's the question now. That was bizarre. Okay. So, tell me about your experience.
Well, this is kind of strange. It was a few years ago. Every night when I would go to bed, the first time it happened, I was laying there and kind of half asleep, and I felt like a cat jumped on the bed, and walked around in circles a couple times, and then laid down. And we didn't have a cat at that time. Our cat had passed away, but it had been several months since our cat had died. So the first night I kind of just shrugged it off as, I'm just imagining things, or that didn't really happen, or, I was half asleep, who knows. Then the next night, it happened again. Still, I'm kind of not really believing that this is real.
Right.
I'm still thinking I'm just imagining this. Until this went on every night. Night after night after night, and I swear it was a good 6 months. And I would lay there and just pretend like I was asleep, but I was awake, waiting for this to happen. And I would reach my hand behind me, because it was always in the same place, like behind my legs. I'd lay on my side,
right,
and it would curl up behind my legs.
Ooh.
And I would reach my hand back there and feel nothing there.
Ah, dude.
But this was really strange, and then it just as suddenly as it started, it quit happening.
Oh man, were you okay? What at the time? Were you doing anything that could have caused this? Were you listening to late night paranormal radio shows and trying to fall asleep? Did you just watch a scary movie? Were you playing Ouija boards? Were you doing
nothing at all? Nothing
Really?
at all. I've watching TV, whatever show happened to be on that night. I used to watch a lot of Discovery Channel, History Channel, stuff like that.
Right. Anything else going on in the house?
My wife had some experiences, but she's really sensitive to that sort of thing. So that, she's always had experiences ever since she was a child.
Right.
Seeing things, seeing people, stuff like that. But she never experienced the cat or whatever it was. I called it our ghost cat. We had a ghost cat.
That is crazy. And now, who lived in the house before you?
I don't know. It was we were renting it at the time. That was the house we were renting.
Oh, so how long did you live in the house? Up to that point, a couple of years?
We lived there just a couple of years, yeah.
So anything could have happened before you moved there?
Sure, and it was it was a duplex, and it was a fairly old duplex, as a matter of fact. I believe it was built, the town we live in Florida, really didn't exist before, early 1970s, and then it just kind of popped up. And this I actually found a date when I was working on the air conditioner, a date in there of like 1976, I think it was.
Right.
When that thing was installed.
the people that, because I've done it, that go and rent. I've rented my whole life until we bought our house. So you never know. And you go sure. And you just don't know. You go and you put your bed in a new bedroom, and you move into this apartment or duplex or house or whatever. You do not know what went on in that room before you were there. I mean, and it could be the craziest, maybe nothing, right? But now, and so when you are telling me that you're in a rented room and you've got what appears to be some being crawling into bed with you and lying there.
And it didn't happen, right after we first moved in there. We had been there a while.
Wow.
And then it started happening.
Did you ask your neighbors,
No, I didn't say anything to the neighbors. I told a few of my friends about it, and, they kind of just laughed it off. And I said, I don't know what to tell you. We got a ghost cat, I thought I was imagining things, but when it happens every night like clockwork,
oh man, that's a really good. I almost said sighting encounter, but after it ended, I mean, I always ask everybody the same question because I have to ask myself this question, and it's an easy one, which is, were you cool with it?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really bother me.
Right.
It's not like I jumped out of bed and wouldn't sleep in there anymore.
Did you want to have it happen again? Did you start to miss it?
No, I didn't miss it, if that's what you're saying.
Oh, man. I kind of miss the ghost cat, honey.
Right?
Has she come and visited you lately? No. Oh, man. But yeah, great experience. And we'll open up the phones on Thursday night. I would like to hear from anybody else that's, ghost pets. That's really cool. Hey, Ron, thank you so much.
Yeah, you don't hear much of that. All right. Thank you, Jimmy.
Have a great night, my friend.
All right, you too.
Great phone call right there. Thank you so much, Ron. The ghost cat curling up. See, that happens to me every night. But I reach down and I've got a dog. I've got a dog or a cat hanging out there. That's absolutely amazing. And going back to Pat's encounter, that having something materialize and go physical. The thing is about ghosts, right? Is they can't hurt you, right? You're told that. They can't hurt you. What's it going to do? What's it going to do? Push you down some stairs? Is it going to punch you in the face? Right? It's just a ghost. And that's what, your grandparents, my grandparents used to tell me about the ghosts in their home. Growing up, especially with our grandparents, anything strange happened in the house, you always got the same explanation. That's our ghost. Pay him no mind. He's not going to hurt you. And so you hear this when you're 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, and you're okay with it, right? But when a ghost decides to go physical, now we got another situation. Pat had said that the ghost had tried to choke his grandfather, or the grandfather. That's taking things to another level. You don't want to have these entities to be able to go physical, or are they? Now, and the other part of it is, look, everybody that's calling in right now, I'm wrapping up the show here in 45 seconds, so we won't. You can stop. But when something is going physical, that is where I have to question if it's interdimensional, right? Is it interdimensional? Is this a parallel world situation? Is it something coming over from the other side? Is it a being from the future, right? Could it even be ET, some, again, light being type of entity. I don't know. I do believe that there is something going on here. That, listening to Pat's experience, that was, when I said that's a Class A encounter, that's a real world. That is as real as anything, that I believe it actually happened like he says. That's a great encounter. I do want to remind everybody, I got to thank Nick Pope, and also it's nickpope.net. The links are over at jimmychurchradio.com, and you can go and visit Nick's site. All of his appearances that will be happening in 2018 are there. His books are there. Great articles. A really cool website, nickpope.net. Tomorrow night, Jason Louv will be here. We're going to talk about this book that was just released, and it's really good. It's called John Dee and the Empire of Angels, Enochian Magic and the Occult Roots of the Modern World, and that will be tomorrow night. Thursday night, Nick Pope is coming right back here to hang out with me all night and take your phone calls and answer your questions. And with that wraps another great evening here on Fade to Black. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Camarion. Show is produced by Hill J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster, Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA The Planet. This broadcast owned and copyrighted 2018 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. Until tomorrow night, everybody be safe. Go Beckley Teppy.